Yeah, what a battle, right? I mean, that's what you expect out of a Sweet 16 game. You got two really successful teams, two teams having great years. Hats off to Rutgers. I thought, that group there, they had a great season. Melissa's a great coach, ton of talent there, and they gave us everything we could handle. So we talked earlier, right before the game, I told our players big games are big games because both teams are good. And it's about answering something that the other team does with a hit of your own. And it's something that I preach to my kids, to my teams. That's the difference in big games and regular games, right? So when a team makes a play, you got to be able to answer that. We got off on that big run. They came back and went on that 4-3 run and thought about a TO. We didn't take it. But at the end of the day, our players stepped up in a big way. It was not easy, and none of these playoff games are. But I thought our scoring was diverse. Our defense stepped up, and I thought we got some clutch goaltending. And at the end of the day, that's a good recipe to win playoff games.
Thanks, Coach. We're going to open it up for questions for the student athletes. I just ask that you raise your hand, introduce yourself, and I'll call on you.
For Charlie's Dillon Butler with USA Lacrosse magazine. How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. I've never been in a cage in a playoff game and made 12 saves, but what does it feel
Neither
like?
have I.
That's great.
What does it feel like though when you're in that? Like you athletes talk about being in a zone. Like what did that feel like?
Yeah, I definitely. My parents will often ask me, "Do you hear us cheering?" And the answer is no. I definitely narrow my focus to the entirety of the field, but my defense was incredible in front of me, and they made my job not easy, because Rutgers is exceptionally talented, and I know that from all the film that I watch of them, knowing how exceptionally talented they were. But something where it was on me to make the save, and thankfully I did more times than I didn't.
Go ahead, Owen.
Owen O'Brien with Newsday. Probably just when you wanted to transfer to play here also, how much of that was to be in these type of games and these type of environments and to hopefully have a game like this?
Definitely. So yes, I spent my first 5 years of my collegiate career at the University of Virginia, which I'm incredibly thankful for. But I wanted to get back to my roots and play Long Island lacrosse, which is, I don't care if I have to go through you, but I'm getting to that ball. And I wanted that, and I knew this team would push me until I came apart in order to be the best goalie that I could be. And that's what I really wanted, knowing that everyone around me cared so much. I didn't have to wonder, because it's obvious that they do, because I wear my heart on my sleeve. As you can see, whenever we score, I'm jumping around like an idiot. But I loved my time at Virginia, but I wanted to go back to playing tough, gritty Long Island lacrosse. It ain't pretty, but it works. That's what I wanted.
Just as someone who had a pretty good sight on those saves and everything, just how impressive maybe were some of those stops that Charlie was able to make back there?
Oh my God, every time she had a kick save, every time I was screaming, hell yeah, Charlie. Like, I couldn't be happier for her because she was the one saving our butts at the end of the day. In the beginning, we struggled a little bit, and she was the one to keep us in tune and keep us motivated to keep working.
Jeremy?
Jeremy Portnoy with Statesman. Haley, you had 4 close turnovers. The whole second half defense was just dominant. Can you just take me through the defense's performance there?
Really, we just worked on us, and we just wanted to build on what we had. The first half, I wouldn't say struggled, but Rutgers did a great job. They were beating our defense in the beginning. But at the end of the day, we focused on us. We got better triangles, better talking and everything, and it just worked out.
Kailyn, I don't even know how many straight hat tricks now, but a lot. Can you just take me through? I know the offense was stalling a little bit in the middle of the game. What do you think of that fourth quarter comeback?
I think Rutgers, played us very tough, and it gave us competition in the beginning. But when it came to the fourth quarter, we came out in the second half. We knew what we had to do, and we got it done. And we couldn't do it without our lockdown goalie, our lockdown defense, and just all our key offensive players. So.
Go ahead, Owen.
Yeah. Kailyn, in terms of the scoring also, it seemed like especially the big, well, I guess, like the tying goals and the go-ahead goals, it seemed like it was different girls who was scoring today. Is that just kind of how this offense was kind of working out there?
You know, all of our offensive players are great. All of our goals can come from anywhere at any point, and we know that. Everyone knows that, and I think today it was just different girls, which is awesome, and I think they showed that they could step up in big games when they're sliding to Ellie early or sliding to me early or just locking us off, and, you know, that's really key for the Elite Eight, so.
Go ahead, Bill.
Kailyn, following up on that, you know, quick kind of turnarounds, Carolina, again, same spot, right? How does that feel to get to that challenge?
We're ready for them. You know, they're a great team. They've been undefeated, so they're due for a loss, and I think that's going to be us. So we're coming for them.
Yeah, coming off of that also, just playing down there last year, does that maybe alter the team's mindset, or just kind of change the approach at all, just kind of playing there last year and playing them tough last year?
Definitely.
And back there?
Definitely. They ended seasons, you know, for Allie Kennedy, Taryn O'Miller, which are great players that unfortunately we couldn't have them this year. And we want to get back at them, and we want to end their season. So.
Go ahead, Bill.
Off of that too, Charlie, you played there a lot.
I have played at Dorrance Field more than anyone should have to.
How is excited the right word? Like for that challenge? Another one for you?
I mean, North Carolina is amazing, but I think we're amazing too. And you know, I've spent the majority of my collegiate career playing on grass fields, and I don't care if it's, you know, Klockner, you know, Dorrance Field, but it's Bermuda short grass. And I know how to play on the surface, but I'm more excited for the amazing team that's in front of me, and I want to work as hard as I can for them. They deserve it.
Any final questions for the student athletes before we go to coach? Okay, questions for Coach Spallina?
Yeah, Joe, I mean, you know, you big time players like to kind of have a cliche, but what'd you think of Charlie in the cage?
She was awesome. She stepped up in a big way, and there was some times we were a little bit of a lull, and she made some saves that I thought kind of were jolts. You know, when you get a save like that, it's the equivalent emotionally as scoring a goal. You know, and she had a bunch where it's like, oh wow. You know, you look at the scoreboard and it's 8-7, and she makes big free position save. You know, that allowed us to kind of, you know, we're a little different than we've been in the past because we're so, I feel like defensively we're, you know, better than we've ever been, and offensively at times we've become a little bit more methodical, and that's fine. You can win that way. You know, you can win by submission, not always knockout. So, you know, I think when you're getting big stops like that and momentum changing saves, you know, it's only a matter of time. You get the ball to our offense, we're able to kind of find our way. You know, we get them to play. We talked about getting them Rutgers to play from behind in the second half, and let them look at the scoreboard and start to rush their, you know, their approach against our defense. You know, we had a little intervention at half defensively and needed to tweak some things and really get back to our roots. It wasn't anything, you know, just talk about just kind of getting back to the foundation. So I said it in the huddle. I said, guys, the first day we got together and talked about our defense, we talked about this and this. And at the end of the day, here we are, 15 minutes left in our season. If we don't win, and it comes down to this and this, short up, lock it down, and we're gonna be good. And you know, everybody, it was like a real bit of a reset. And you know, at the end of the day, you want to be playing deep into the season as we are. You better be playing really good defense.
And just fast start on offense, and they kind of punched back. Did you just kind of expect it was going to be one of those games where one team would go on a run and then the other might answer with something?
Listen, Rutgers is great. Like, we knew it wasn't going to be like last year. We're going to run them off the field, and I think a lot of what happened here last year helped them today. Like, you know, they got some experience, and you know, I'm sure they would probably, like, when we're up 3-0, like, oh boy, here we go again. And you know, but they got that next goal, they got that next draw, and I think the first 5 goals of the game were all whatever team won the draw scored the goal. So, you know, big game, like I said, big games there's going to be runs. Teams are going to make plays, and you have to answer those plays. And at the end of the day, you know, this was what you expect out of an NCAA playoff game. Probably both teams, Rutgers definitely could have been a seeded team going into this thing. And, like I said previously, I didn't think we were seeded correctly. I'm sure Rutgers feels the same way. And I thought they showed today why they have the right to believe that, because they're really good. So, it was a heavyweight battle, that's for sure.
Jeremy?
This was Rutgers' lowest scoring output by far this season. What do you think your defense did differently that allowed for that?
Well, we have the number one scoring defense in the country. So, we needed to play like that against an elite offense. I challenged our kids the other day too. Like, hey, if you're the best defense in the country, like people think you're doing it with fluff, well, you got to go do that against an elite offense. And Rutgers was an elite offense. And we showed some resolve today because, early on, we were all over the place and scattered and chasing our tail a little bit and a little frazzled. Then we got into the huddle, and I tell them all the time, communication isn't just talking, it's listening too. And everybody's kind of rattling things off, and we're kind of, I tell them all the time, you don't punch somebody like this. You punch somebody like this. You play defense like a unit like this. So at the end of the day, we had that reset. I thought, I saw it. Like I could see everybody's like, panic mode. And my job as the head coach is to just calm down. We know we're good. So at the end of the day, keeping them calm and being able to press the reset button. And without our defense today, we don't win this game.
Going back to UNC, obviously you guys have been here before. What makes this time different? Why can you beat them this time?
To quote Biggie, I don't fear anyone that breathes the same air as me. But we don't. Like, we were there twice last year. We played there. They're awesome. Jenny and I coach US together. But for 60 minutes, we're going to try to beat their ass. And there's no fear. Stony Brook will not touch foot on North Carolina campus with an ounce of fear. We're going there to win a lacrosse game. We're not going there to bend our knee. We're not going there to kiss the rings. We're going there to win a lacrosse game. We respect North Carolina immensely. They are awesome. Awesome. And they have no wins, no losses. No loss. Undefeated. Okay? Yeah, we know. But we're not going in there. I got a good group around me. I feel really good. I've said all year, I feel like this is the best team we've ever had. And we're not going to go in there, and they're great. We're going to have to play a great game. But I'll tell you this, they're going to have to play a great game too. Because if they don't, they're going to lose. And if we don't, we're going to lose. So at the end of the day, I talked to Jenny. I know this is a unique quarterfinal game. Unique. Because we were ranked 4th in the country most of the year, 5th in the country, depending on what it was, by our peers, college coaches, media. So 2 different polls. So this is not your typical 1-8 matchup. Okay, I know all those players, Mastriani, those guys, two of them play for me with US. They're awesome. Ton of respect. Jamie Ortega, Long Island kid, great players. We got great players too.
Yeah, before the brackets came out, obviously, did you expect to be playing them?
We thought we'd play them eventually. We thought it'd be a week later, but
this early,
yeah. But day one, we meet in the locker room, goal one, win a national championship. You're gonna do that, you got to beat them anyway. So we've gone on and on about that. With the is it RPI, strength of schedule? So then we should have been ahead of one of the teams. Is it head to head? We should have been ahead of another team. So the criteria is confusing, but that's fine. It's confusing not just to me. I can tell you that. I'm just the only one who talks about it. So, but again, it's not like a one thing where I'm going to get pissed off because it happened one time. It's happened like 10 times. So, but we're going to keep on keeping on. Goals don't change. Don't matter who we have to play. We got to go win. You got to play great lacrosse this time of the year when you step on the field, and you advance, or you don't. You hand your stuff in. So it's we understand what's in front of us. We've played there twice last year. We know the hotels. We know the warm ups. We know the locker room. We know the crowd. We know that we know we're gonna have to beat more than their team. So we know it all. We're ready though. We're excited. I got a great team. I trust my kids. That's the one thing. I'm happy I get another week with these guys, and then if we play good enough, we earn another week.
Any final questions for Coach? All good? Thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.